Editorial. Lead counsel Amy Bensouda should resign from the Jenner Commission in the interest of justice. Our today's lead story is disturbing to say the least. The credibility and integrity of the Jenner Commission is at stake, given the damning revelations about the Commission's lead counsel Amy Bensouda, who has been linked to colluding with the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, SSHFC, directorate to illegally loan Social Security funds in the sum of $118 million to the National Water and Electricity Company, NOREC. The funds came from the SSHFC Workforce Federated Pensioners Scheme. Mrs. Bensouda was the retained lawyer for the SSHFC at the time of the loan agreement. She took part in the transactions. Granted, the borrowed funds have been repaid, but the bottom line is that pensioners' funds are not meant for parastatals. From the onset, we have raised concern over the membership of the Commission. Conflicted people should not be entrusted with the role of administering justice or exposing official graft. Nope. The entire proceedings of the Jenner Commission have been tainted. Mrs. Bensouda has no moral authority to hold the likes of Edward Graham, Tumbil Danso, Joe Goodbar, Momodu Sabely, and Go to Book. She is complicit to some of the issues being discussed before the Commission. Check the paper trail below. It is dishonest on her part to confront former and present SSHFC officials about the issue of misusing pensioners' funds, when Bensouda herself drafted the pensioners' loan contractual agreement between NOREC and the SSHFC. This is sheer hypocrisy. Mrs. Bensouda should resign from the Commission in the interest of justice. She is not fit to lead witnesses into evidence before the Jenner Commission, given her complicity into some of the financial alleged crimes which had taken place at the SSHFC. Interestingly, and sadly, Mrs. Bensouda is a beneficiary of the former Jenner government. She represented the discredited SSHFC, where the major economic crimes have been perpetrated, while she was the corporation's retained lawyer. As a retained lawyer for the SSHFC, she never advised the institution to staying away from the grand theft of pensioners' funds taking place at the SSHFC. She instead facilitated the issuance of $118 million SSHFC funds loaned to NOREC. This is the woman trying to make us believe that it is illegal for Graham, Danso, Joe Goodbar, Sabely, and Go to help Jenner to use pensioners' funds for his own personal aggrandizement. A case in point was when both Sabely and Joe adduced in evidence before the Commission that SSHFC funds were used to buy Tabaski Ram to loan it to civil servants. The duo said they were acting under Jenner's instructions. Mrs. Bensouda categorically said it was unlawful for pensioners' funds to be used to serve Jenner or State House functions. She even referenced the retirement contributions usually made by civil servants through the Treasury Department or Accountant General's office to justify her position on the matter. We hope Mrs. Bensouda will employ good judgment in handling this major ethical malpractice on her part. Resigning will help shape the direction of the Jenner Commission. Failure of which, she would reduce the Commission's mission as a misplaced priority. It is also alleged that Bensouda used to be Batsy's lawyer. If it is true that Batsy was her former client, it would be unethical on her part to engage Batsy in the Commission. Another conflicted Commission member is Mrs. George. Both Fady and Batsy have called her out during the proceedings. She used to be their accountant. She was aware of the financial malpractices taking place at Euro Africa Group. But she chose to ignore it as the company's accountant. Folks, the purpose of the Jenner Commission would be defeated unless some of the unethical issues facing the Commission are resolved. The people appearing before the Commission had one way or the way dealt with the Commission members or its lead counsel. Inasmuch as Mr. Sane is doing a good job by taking the witnesses to task, it is also imperative to note that his dad Lamin Sane used to be the head of Bunya. It is a known fact that some of the witnesses Sane occasionally chastised for failing to do the right thing while in office, feared to be taken to his daddy's presided near torture and murder chamber while they were asked by Jenner to execute those illegal instructions. We got to be honest in this new Gambia. Momodu Sabally was put in chains and humiliated in the streets of Banjul by the Nia, after he parted company with Jammeh. Sabally has no excuse for executing Jammeh's illegal instructions. On the same vein, Baisane will also agree with us that had been that Sabally refused to execute Jammeh's instructions or orders, he would have been arrested, tortured, or at worst killed by the dictator's agents hosted by the Nia. His dad used to head that killing minefield of Jammeh called the Nia. His own dad never defied Jammeh's illegal orders. We need a commission of an unconflicted membership. As it appears, there are certain members of the commission, who have been either one way or the other, wittingly or unwittingly colluded with the former Jammeh dictatorship. Once again, we are calling on Mrs. Bensouda to resign for heaven's sake to help safeguard the reputation of the commission. We